everybody. Welcome to the You Are Here podcast. I'm Michael Storm Miller.
I'm Jerome Sconia.
There we go. And we are rapping to y'all today about something that's very important, like after military service and everything. And it's pretty much just about rebuilding your life and trying to be sustainable, as you're rebuilding. You got what I'm saying? I know for most people we try to return, and I think we spoke on this before. We try to return and almost as if our lives were on pause while we were gone. And then you want to come back and hit play, but it doesn't necessarily work that way. So a lot of times it feel like things are falling apart, because you are picking up from where you left off, not understanding that life went on while you were gone. You got what I'm saying? So now you get to a space of realizing this fact, realizing that you have to adapt, you have to improvise, you have to overcome. And we want to talk today about, what that looks like. You want to start off with anything?
Yeah, you know what? Let's start off with this. There's a difference between what's realistic and what's not when it comes to starting the rebuild, right? So, one note I put down was it's simple, yet seemingly impossible. At least it feels that way to at least get started. And then once you get started, you're excited you're started, and you'll bite off more than you can chew. That is no good for sustainability.
It is not.
That's going to keep you down the whole time. You're going to spread yourself too thin. You're going to fight on too many fronts. I just don't believe, at least individuals with such wounds, such damage like that, we don't have the bandwidth to do that as bad as we want to.
Yeah.
As bad as we want to. But we'll try it anyway because we're stubborn. We're human.
Yeah, and I believe that we've been set in a scenario of overcoming things, overcoming adversity. So when we run into a problem, we try to solve it. And
Absolutely.
I think it's innately inside of us, especially
100%.
I can't speak too much for the female experience, but I know as a man, you always want things to run smoothly. You worry about security and everything else. You worry about growth, and when I say security, I'm not just talking about, like physical. I'm talking about financial. I'm talking about mental. You want your kids to feel well. You want your significant other to feel well. You want everything to run like a well-oiled machine. You got what I'm saying? But sometimes when we come back from from our military service, and what we view as what we view life should be, or when we want to try to pull life back to where it was, you got what I'm saying? That's when we run into friction. And that is when our image that we had of things kind of falls apart. So now it's like, how do we move forward in this and I not carry any resentment, like, okay, my kids aren't listening to me, or they're not doing what I need them to do, or my woman, or to that effect, your husband, might not you may feel like, oh, that person isn't listening, and this, that, and the third, when sometimes it's us who need to sit back and say, well, hold on, this is a whole new script here.
Yup.
So I have to now integrate back into my family. I have to now rebuild uh, my relationships, solidify my relationships once again, make them stronger, but do it in a healthy way, in a way that is also sustainable to me and sustainable for the family, for the home front.
Absolutely.
What's going on, Pete? Good afternoon. Pete said, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Hope y'all are having a great day, spreading your word." Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got what I'm saying? So in the grand scheme of things, you have to say to yourself, okay, how do I go about doing this? What are the first steps that I should take when it comes down to me, rebuilding my life as a separate entity, and also as, part of this family unit. You got what I'm saying? So we can look at it from a separate point of view first, honestly. And then we could look at it from that family standpoint. Because let me tell you something. If you ain't right, and if you can't rebuild yourself, you can't fix anything.
Say it again,
Yeah.
for those in the back.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh,
No doubt. If you don't understand that you have work to do, if you don't understand that you need to rebuild yourself, it doesn't mean that you're broken. And hell, even if you were broken, understand that broken crayons still color. If a crayon breaks, that doesn't mean it can't freaking color again. If a pencil point breaks off, it does not mean that you can't sharpen that pencil, hone that pencil again. Hey, what's going on, Tyrone? How you feeling? Ten of Life is in the building. Um, so we got to understand that that same principle applies to us. And they say that iron sharpens iron.
absolutely.
So I would say one of the key factors for me when I came home and how I started to try to get my life together and rebuild myself, I needed to talk to people who were like me to see what they was going through. So I looked to kind of like fellowship in a way. I looked to sit down, talk to brothers that been through my struggle, talk to brothers I've been through war with, hearing their problems and stuff. Because sometimes when you hear somebody else's problems, you realize you ain't got the bad problem. Your problems are not as bad. And we start to become thankful for the weight that we have on our shoulders. And now it's like, well, damn.
It's a dangerous place, Mike.
Yeah, it is. It is. But it gives you a space to say, like, wow, I don't want it to get to that point.
Yes. Instead of like the Bill of Lies. Oh, well, I guess I'm not that bad.
Yeah,
Bullshit. You're in the same room as that person for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I just had to interject.
Oh, no,
that.
you good. You good. I get where you was going with that, though, because the honest to God truth is it depends on who you are as an individual. Are you ready to honestly look at yourself, do some honest introspection, and honestly realize the part that you're playing and what could be the demise of your relationship, the demise of your family? Are you willing to look at yourself and say, yes, I'm part of this package. I am part of this problem. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. A lot of times let me tell you something. They say it's the id, the ego, and the super ego. So it's how we look at ourselves and how we perceive ourselves to be, how other people look at us and perceive us, and then the actual truth about who we are. And like we got to understand that the truth of the matter is we are all flawed individuals.
Amen.
And if you ever catch yourself flipping out, snapping out, talking to yourself, talking to your friends, and you're telling them how this person is doing this and this person is doing that, if everything out of your mouth points to somebody else, I'm gonna tell you this: you the one with the problem.
Remember those three fingers looking back at you when you're pointing at someone.
Yeah, you the one with the problem. So we got to understand where we at. We got to understand the problems that we're bringing forth. You got what I'm saying? And
it's not a competition.
No, not at all.
Okay,
not at all.
I was listening to a podcast not too long ago. Andy Stumpf, Cleared Hot. He called it competitive suffering.
Oh wow.
Yes, dude, that hit me hard as hell.
Wow.
Like, because people go, oh yeah, well, you didn't do this though. You didn't do that though. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Your worst day and this person's worst day, they feel the same to the individual.
Yes, indeed.
And why would you want to compete with other people about who shit's worse when y'all are trying to get better?
Yeah. And that would honestly, if I had to do that, compete with somebody, I would feel to myself like I'm talking to the wrong person. I know if I talk to somebody and I'm coming to you telling you I'm fucked up and you're telling me I'm not, then I know I don't need to be talking to you. I know I don't need to be talking to you. Now, granted, our definitions of what's messed up, what that looks like, it can be different.
Absolutely.
I can be looking at myself in a really bad light. But I would rather you tell me like, yes, this is messed up and that's messed up, but you're not horrible for it. It's not like you can't do anything to change it. I would rather you acknowledge, because if I'm saying it, it's real to me. So acknowledge it. You know what I mean? And if anything, if you're just there to listen, just go ahead and listen. And if you want to add a word of encouragement, add a word of encouragement, but try to uh don't try to water down. You got what I'm saying? What I feel about myself. Acknowledge what I'm saying, and then go ahead and add your ounce of encouragement or whatnot.
You know, it's crazy because I think I've talked about this before. I may not have. So I was in group, and group did me wonders because I got to sit with people that other soldiers, airmen, whatever, different MOSs, different backgrounds. We're all in the same room. We're all in the same boat. We got different oars, but it don't matter. We're all rowing. And when I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about these dudes with so many tours under their belt, right? And I've got one. Sure, my one was a year, but it's one. Now, I hear these guys talking and they're telling their stories and they're sharing. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. My turn to start talking. I start giving some details. And I'm talking about a 3-hour engagement. And I watched two 20-year veterans' jaws drop. I'm like, what? That didn't happen to y'all? Y'all didn't have anything kind of crazy like that? And they're looking at me like I've got 6 heads. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, yeah, that was only one. Most of our engagements were real quick. Like, it's not what the movies really portray it to be. That's rare.
Yeah, never.
That's very rare, right? Unless you were in Fallujah, you were in Ramadi, you know, you were the original guys going into Afghanistan. Like, there's very few battles that are really like that or anything. And I mean, I'm hard pressed to this day to call that a battle, what we went through in Durrani, but you know, you never know. And it's not really worth comparing, but it'll put shit in perspective. 20 years, multiple tours. We're talking high-ranking NCOs. And I never thought in a million years my National Guard ass would say something that would drop jaws.
Well, you know what? It's kind of like perspective. Individual experiences definitely vary. Definitely vary. Like it's people. So the majority of our unit got combat action badges.
Oh yeah.
You got what I'm saying? But there are people in our unit who didn't get one.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
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 So their experience,
Wagon Master.
They were, yeah. They were in, but see, this is the weird part about like with Wagon Master, and I know y'all don't know. Yeah. We getting ready to go off and just have this.
We about to go into the weeds real quick.
Yeah, with Wagon Master, I feel that she should have gotten like a cab, because the honest to God truth is, although she didn't experience direct fire or anything, I feel like she was privy to all of that.
Absolutely.
She was in the moments
she
when
might have been actually because the female barracks guy.
Oh, maybe.
But regardless, like that one, I would say at least some kind of an award, like the pivotal role that, but that was the voice we always heard. We knew we were close to home.
It's like going through all the trauma. Like, okay, if you have a horrific car accident, right? And all of the violence of it is over. Ambulance comes get you, take you to the hospital, right? Surgeons work on you and everything. You wind up in the bed. You lost both your legs. That nurse dealing with you, she's experiencing your trauma. She's getting trauma of her own based off of what you're going through. It's kind of like the aftermath. But with Wagon Master, it's real time.
Yeah.
She's not seeing everything. Those people she know and care
she's still
about.
Seeing everything.
Yeah, she's still seeing everything. So I mean, that's neither here nor there. We went off on our tangent and we're coming back. But so first off, if you really as a veteran, if you really trying to rebuild your life, I do believe the first step is to kind of recognize yourself, recognize where you're at, and then you look at what it is that you may be, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say what you may be deficient in. You got what I'm saying? So if you feel like mentally and emotionally,
Just not
you
handling it well.
sustain damage and you're not handling it well, then yes, that requires, mental health
Maintenance.
services, behavioral health services. You got what I'm saying? So you can get back on track. It might require group, it may require one-on-one therapy, it could require half of the things that we've spoken about since we've been doing this show as in a way to get help, which nothing is wrong with that. It may even require medication. You might even want to join a study or something just to try to see what's going to work for you. You got what I'm saying? So, first off, is realizing yourself, being aware of oneself. Pete said, and a barbecue defect was hit with the rocket near their barracks also. Hey, I didn't think about that. That was
I'm not
hit.
going to drop names, but we had people there.
Yeah, that was hit. That was hit. Very good point, Pete. Very good point. But when it's all said and done, if you to thine own self be true, if you can realize what's going on with you first, then you get the help that you need, and you have to make a commitment to that. And me and Rome was talking about that earlier about like nobody makes me go to therapy. I go to therapy because I know I need it. I know I need it. So I go. It's become a part of my life. I go. You got what I'm saying? And that's just me realizing the deficiency in myself, me realizing my problems and trying to walk towards a healthier life and a better quality of life. Because if I have a better quality of life, I can integrate better with my family, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
That relieves so much.
Yeah.
Just the amount of weight that would take off of you, but it's got to start somewhere.
Yep.
So you have to pick the point from where you're going to start.
Mhm.
Then you got to follow through.
Yes, sir.
And then it goes into that accountability. And as him and I were talking earlier, when you're in, well, everything's structured for us.
Mm-hmm.
And what holds us accountable? Loss of money, loss of time, and extra duty. Not to mention the fact that, yo, we volunteered to put the uniform on.
Yeah.
Do your fucking job,
Yeah.
right? Like
And it's a
it's
structure
not
in
even a
place.
question most of the time. It's like, okay, the question's more like, all right, how can we get this done faster?
Yeah.
Those are the questions you get.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
we stuck to what it was that we had to do. There's a structure in place for us, and that structure says, you get up at 0 dark 30. Get up at this time because we're going to PT. You have a mission. Be here at this time. And these were all responsibilities that we had because that structure was in place and it was the culture of the military. You're there on time. You are showing up for your duties, for your missions, for anything that was assigned to you. Now you're home. You got to keep that energy about yourself. If you say, okay, I need to get help, then that becomes your new duty. It becomes your new mission. I am not going to stop until I get that help. Pete said, tell him, Jerome, you raise your right hand and put on that uniform. Do your fucking job. Amen, sir.
yes,
That's the
sir.
honest to God truth. But you see, that is the way we look at it in the military. But it is the same way we need to look at it when we get out. You got kids, they're your kids. Nobody made you have those kids. And guess what? They need a fighting chance. They deserve to have the right to dream. They need to live unafraid. They need to feel loved and everything else. And so, guess what? You put on the hat to be a father, you put on a hat to be a mother. And I'm not saying that you can't be in pain. I'm not saying you can't go through issues and problems, have PTSD, anxiety, depression. I'm not saying none of these things cannot be a part of the new you coming out of all of that.
I think at times it's all inevitable.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, understand that these children are your responsibility. Your wife, your husband is your responsibility. So you have to show up for yourself so you can show up for them.
Amen.
And the big thing becomes now, let's say you are going to you are getting everything together, you going to therapy and everything else. The question becomes, okay, well, how do we make this like um a sustainable thing? How
If
do you keep going? So I think one thing that I realized when I got out, I like the whole tribe mentality. So sometimes for some people, group doing it with somebody may make it easier for you. You showing up for your battle buddies. You got what I'm saying? You're showing up in this group because the whole group helps to move each other. You get what I'm saying? Now, some of us, we may not be the type of group person or whatnot, but what I will say is, see if you can encourage, any of your loved ones to take the ride with you. They ain't gonna be sitting in the room, no, but they can take the ride with you. They can talk to you, they can keep you company, or just on these days that we do therapy, on the days that you do therapy, it could be like, well, whenever I go do therapy on the way back, I'll stop and do this to kind of like reward yourself, just to try to keep the flow of things going, try to keep the consistency. I'm a results person. So the more results I see with something, the more I become motivated to keep going forward.
yeah,
When I don't see results, it's hard for me to move forward. But I see results, I'll keep pushing. And you might be that type of person, and it may just take care of itself. But let's just say you sign up for some therapy, you're not seeing results, and then you stop going. It's not a good thing if you don't try to, see another doctor or another therapist, or, just to try something new.
or vice versa.
Yeah.
So you could also hit a point where in which I feel good, I'm fixed. That's like somebody that needs to be medicated and they
Mm,
think that they're good, so they stop taking their meds.
mm,
I've had quite a few of those friends. You know when they stop,
mhm.
they revert right back. It's a false sense. So you have to remember when you're actually ready to rebuild, you need the proper mentality.
Yeah.
And I dub it the marathon mentality
Yes, indeed.
because there's no quick anything.
No,
There
sir.
never will be.
Not even
Name
building your
something.
body.
I challenge anyone who watches this. Name something you have in your life that matters, but you didn't fucking earn.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing comes overnight. Whether you working out, whether you doing whatever. Hey, what's going on, Keon? Keon said, yes, results matter. Yeah, results matter to a lot of people. But we always have to understand that we ourselves, we have to put the work in. And it's crazy because being in the military for so long, knowing that you got APFTs and stuff coming up, knowing that you'll train for stuff, you'll get yourself together. We spend all our time in the military prepping. There's people who spent 20 years in the military, never been to war, never been anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We spend a whole lot of time prepping for it, and it may never happen. So when you get out, you should still be training, but not for your next mission that you're gonna go on the road for and battle the Taliban or whatever. Nah, your next mission is, a making it to my kids' school for their stuff. Being there for my wife, my girlfriend, my husband, my significant other. You got what I'm saying?
Being
Um,
present for everyone, including
being
yourself.
present, yep, for myself, being present for me. It becomes your new mission, and I think you should take that mission even more serious
Oh, yeah.
than you did the missions when you were enlisted. Even more serious, because guess what? At the end of the day, your military service, it only lasts as long as your usefulness to the military industrial complex. And once your usefulness expires, then they no longer keep you. So there is life. There was life before military service, and there is life after. And most likely that after part and before part equals out to be way more than your time spent in military service.
And I promise you, that's from the lowest level person to the
Yeah.
highest level. Because I've listened to a lot of different operators, special operations guys.
Mhm.
The second they decide to leave, the pipeline keeps moving without them.
Yes.
It does not stop. It doesn't go, oh man, come on, please stay, please come back. Okay, this is your decision. All right. Thank you for your service.
Yep. And somebody pops right back in, takes your place.
They're already waiting. They're lying in wait.
As a matter of fact, as you're serving in your unit, the whole time you're in that unit, ask yourself how many new people showed up.
How about your job in the civilian world?
Yeah.
Because we're talking post-service too.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you start slipping up at work. Guess what? That dude you just trained 6 months ago, who knows your job now, who's showing up every day and he's not late. Guess who's going to get that spot and that raise? And now you got shit.
So just as you feel very useful in your unit, which while you're there and you're doing your thing, you are very useful in your unit, that has an expiration date. But typically with loved ones, typically with children, typically with family, you don't have an expiration date. You got what I'm saying? Especially if you have good family dynamics. You got what I'm saying? You don't have an expiration date. You can put yourself on the outside of them. But believe me when I tell you, if them folks love you and they care about you, they want you to be there. So once again, you have to show up for yourself and you have to make that sustainable. And if that means that, you have to tell them, well, this night or whatever, hey, let's do a game night just to keep connection flowing and going, then it's just what you got to do.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, just what you got to do. You got to keep a connection.
And to speak to what Keon said, results matter. Let me tell you the most meaningful results I got out of anything. One of my older sisters just messaged me and just complimented me on how I was over the holidays and everything. Like, she didn't know I was in counseling. I didn't tell everyone. I kind of kept it a little low key. And they saw it. It was clear because I was all in. I was putting in the work. I was holding myself accountable to the decision I made to fix myself and be better for my family. They're going to notice.
Yeah.
The first people to notice that you're fucked up is your family and your friends. So the first people they're going to notice you're unfucking yourself
is your
friends and your family.
Yep.
When you hear that, especially someone that didn't even know that's what I was doing, they clearly saw the difference. Not just, it was more than how I talked and how I sounded, how I walked, how I just my overall being. Like, you can kind of get a vibe on people, right?
Yeah.
Everything had shifted in me that I didn't even realize was able to be seen externally. And wow, when you want to talk about results, man, that was the most meaningful result in the beginning that I've gotten. And that mattered more than anything. I was on the right path. That's what it meant. That's why those results matter. But if you're not marathon minded, again, I'll beat that dead horse all day.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out.
No doubt. You always have to be in a space of it's a journey. It's a journey. It is. And the crazy part about everything is I always think to myself how we typically we go to boot camp and maybe at first you could only do 3 pull-ups. You got what I'm saying? And the whole time you're in boot camp, you're not in boot camp for 2 years. You're not even in boot camp for a year. You're not in boot camp for 6 months. You got what I'm saying?
No, it was 11 weeks for me.
Yeah, but the whole time you go and you started in one place, but you keep moving forward, and slowly but surely there's progress. And because of the progress that you reach, you can go farther. If it's one thing the military taught me, let me tell you something. I'm not going to sit here and ever badmouth the military in a sense, because I feel like the military actually, it gave me stick to itness. It allowed me to learn how to take one more step.
When you're dog tired.
It gave me the theology of just one more step, one more day. You got what I'm saying? If today was going to be my last day, and I knew I couldn't take it anymore. You got what I'm saying? I'm always in my head like, one more day, just go to sleep, wake up, and try one more day. You got what I'm saying? When I'm doing something and I feel tired and I feel like I can't do this no more, I'm just trying to push out that last one. If I was in the gym and I'm freaking bench pressing or whatnot, it's always like that one last one you cranking out and everything in your body could be shaking, but it's just that one more step. You got what I'm saying? And to me, as long as I'm taking the one more step, things are getting better, even if it's a little bit at a time. You know, your accomplishments, they're never measured in leaps and bounds. They're measured by the breaths that you take. You got what I'm saying? They're not measured in leaps and bounds. Like somebody could look at you and they can do a summation of all the great things you've done in life, and it'll be over in 5 minutes. But I guarantee you, if it was a realistic look at your life, man, you've done hundreds, maybe thousands of great things. You got what I'm saying? But everybody's not going to shine a light on them. And all the time, whenever one bad thing happens, we tend to typically erase all of the good and we just focus on the bad. You got what I'm saying? But even then, when you're in a space like that, it is not any reason for you not to take one more step. You know what I mean? For you not to get one more day out of this. Let me get one more day out of it. Sometimes you go to therapy. Like when I first started going to therapy, honestly, I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
This is not for real. That's how I felt.
I got you.
Like this is bullshit.
I did the same thing.
I knew this shit was going to be like this. What I hear you saying is, you know, and I knew all of this, and I'm sitting there, and the honest to God truth is, I wasn't even giving it a fair chance when I went in, and I had to allow myself the space to realize, like, brother, look at yourself. It's not the therapist. In that respect, it was me because I was kind of closed off to it already.
So permission. You said allow yourself, right? Nobody can give you permission to go get help but you, right? Like you don't need anything from anybody else. It's on us to allow ourselves by giving ourselves that permission. You really gotta drive that one home. And like you said, when we're sitting there and we're thinking, this is bullshit, this is that psycho babble mumbo jumbo,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, hibbity hoo blah. Okay, cool. You're not all in. You're not truly investing your time. You're going through motions. Let's be really real here. You're appeasing everybody at that moment that has told you needed help. So you went to go get a little help and shut them up. You're not actually trying to get yourself help because you're not all in.
And guess what? If you're approaching it in that way, then of course you're going to call it bullshit because you're not going to get any help because you're not putting anything into it. It's like being in a rowboat and you're not actually rowing the boat. You're holding the rowers, the paddles.
What do you mean? I got an oar right here.
Yeah, but
shit.
you're not doing nothing. You're there, but you're not there. Pete said for some people and others are still in playing and doing 40 years. That was from earlier. But he just said, take a step back, view what is going on, then jump in with your whole heart so it can work for you. And that is the thing. And that's what we're getting at. You know, you just literally at some point, you got to let go, man. You got to let go. And letting go is the scariest of things. Talking about stuff, man, talking about stuff is scary. Sometimes I talk about stuff and I could feel the tears like welling in my eyes. And for me, I don't know about anybody else or what anybody's experience is when tears come up, but it kind of burns. Like it burns. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's the devil. I don't know. But it burns, you know, and you sitting up here talking and just being open and honest in a space where, you know, nobody's going to turn around and tell anybody this stuff. Nobody's going to turn around and try to make a fool of you. But man, let me tell you something. Sometimes you get this heavy shit off your chest, you'd be surprised of how well you can start breathing. You would be surprised at how much clearer, like, your next step becomes once you start putting down your baggage and stuff. Once you start clearing your conscious and clearing your mind, stuff becomes a lot easier. And even half the time, the therapists and everything, they add in stuff. They give you tools to use. And it's
They
hard
better
at
be.
first. Yeah, it's hard at first. But tell me, what have you done that wasn't hard to begin with? Even Michael Jordan, y'all could say, you could tell me that, well, it wasn't hard for Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan had a starting point, and I don't think he could beat his brother before at basketball. I think he couldn't beat his brother or something. And the whole thing becomes this: you have to get into it. You have to practice, 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 practice. You have to be willing to go into somewhere with an open heart and an open mind. You have to want for things to be better in your life. And that is the only way you can honestly start to rebuild. Because I don't care how much you want to look at therapy and everything as bullshit. Guess what? What's the alternative? Oh, you're going to take care of it on your own, huh?
No, you're going to stagnate.
You're gonna make things better. You know how to take care of this. Let me tell you something. One thing I learned, because I run a business. I've been running my own business for the longest time. One thing I understood in life is that I don't know everything. I can't do everything. Let me tell you something. I'm a great dude. I'm a great man. I feel like that in my heart. You got what I'm saying? But I can't do everything. I know about my finances and everything else, but am I the expert at everything? Hell no. I know how to build shit, but am I Bob the Builder? Hell no. So what happens is, with the things I know that I am weak in, or the things that I know that I cannot handle myself, I outsource like a motherfucker. I can talk to myself. I can talk to myself, but talking to myself, it doesn't give me a full on perspective of things in life. It doesn't. It just gives me my perspective. And I can only think as far as I could think. And y'all might say, well, what does that mean? Okay, well, let's say you're a basic math person. And yeah, 1 plus 1 equals 2. 6 plus 6 equals 12. Yeah, you got all of that. But then somebody brings advanced calculus. So you can only think as far as you can think. But guess what? When you run into that therapist or something that's teaching you advanced calculus, then you start understanding advanced calculus. Guess what? You expanded your way of thinking. Now you're not just basic math, you're advanced calculus.
And you
But
just proved you can sustain because you can grow.
because you can grow, and growth is the most important thing. Tamika Williams said, true. What's up, Tamika? Josh, hey, Winky. He said he got cut from his first tryouts. Talking about Jordan. Easy, you got to fit that head of yours out the door later. Yes.
Damn.
Because I said, I believe I'm a great man. Tamika said, I had to get to the point where I had to say, I can't do everything. And let me tell you something, Tamika, that statement right there, that statement right there can break a person. That statement right there, most people, they just don't want to admit that. It's hard for them to admit that, because they think admitting that means that they are a failure. But let me tell you something. No one is perfect. So how can we do everything? Pete said, don't try to take care of it yourself, because in the end you could become one of the 23. I agree that 22, not 23. Yeah, no doubt.
And I will straight up, I've already admitted it in the first podcast.
Yeah,
That was almost me.
yeah.
Like
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
When you think that's not going to be you, you wrong.
Yeah,
You wrong.
Well, it's the ones of us who think that we're invulnerable.
Well, let me
Keon said, my ego has died many times. I seclude to reapproach, but rushing back in for me makes me forget the therapist is a hero too.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. I
well
dig
said.
that. And let me tell you something. My ego has died many times. Let me tell you something. That right there, that right there, that right there. You know, and to witness your ego dying and then turn around and try to resuscitate.
I don't
You
even know if
got
it's a
what?
matter of trying, though,
Yeah, yeah, for
but you
sure.
allowed
Yeah,
something to resuscitate that,
yeah, yeah,
which is you gave it permission.
yeah.
So, right back to that allowing and permission,
Mm,
only you can give that permission.
yeah.
Let me read a quote real quick. Where are we at? Mm. Your next level is waiting inside the work you keep avoiding.
Mm,
That
mm.
is sustainment. If you cannot, sorry, let me rephrase. If you continue to avoid the work or don't go all in with the work, you're never going to get there. You're never going to get to that level you want to get to.
Mm.
First-hand account. I've been counseling for years now, and it's gotten me to a great point, but it hasn't. I'm at like a plateau, if you will, for those of you that like to lift and such. So,
You reach that
my,
that
yeah. So it's no longer sustainable for me to just do counseling. But I've also gone through it enough and put enough work in. I have the bandwidth to expand
mm,
now that I
mm.
have the tools and the understanding.
Yeah.
And it was a few episodes ago, we had a therapist on here for something called EMDR, eye movement desensitization and replacement. I actually just got asked by my counselor to put in a referral to go receive that therapy.
Mm,
And I'm going to do it. I have no issues with it because then I'm not being accountable to myself. I'm not trying to do the work. How do I get to the next level if I don't
mm.
friggin' try?
Agreed.
So again, I'm not avoiding any of this anymore. I can't. I can't. I allow this to take me to places where now I'm on TRT, I'm on GLP-1,
Mm,
or my fat ass is going to end up dying early.
mm,
Why? Because for some reason I allowed myself to go that deep off into the bullshit. And I wasn't holding myself accountable for my actions. I wasn't holding myself accountable for my emotions or fixing myself up until recently. But the only way I'm able to sustain that is to continue to move step by step through the process, not try and bite off more than I can chew, not try and attack everything at once,
mm.
because that's just going to overwhelm you. We don't have the bandwidth, especially in the beginning, for that. But I do now. So I'm looking at that next level. It's right there in front of me, at least potentially. But what's potential if you don't act upon it?
Well, you know something though? We have, I think that you and I personally have come to that space in life where we kind of changed the way that we had looked at ourselves, changed the way that we had looked at things. I think we all reach a point sometimes where it's kind of like, I don't want to say we reach that fork in the road. And right at that fork is understanding. You came to a space of awareness. Because as you're traveling to the fork in the road, you're just experiencing things. When you get to the fork, there's a decision to be made because that is the point of awareness. And when you change the way you look at something, when you look at something, it starts to change. You got what I'm saying? So you can go down this fork just looking at things the same way, or you can change the way you're looking at your life, change the way that you're looking at your actions, change the fact that I'm looking at everything external that's adding to my pain and not looking at what I'm doing to add to my pain,
Mm.
not building the world that I need to live in. Because if you build your world and you live in it, the first thing you need to build is you. You need to get back center. And let me tell you something, you will never be the person you once were. That's gone. You'll never get back to who you was, but this is
I'm
who
gonna
you are
try.
now. Yeah, it to me is futile to even try to be who you were because so many wonderful things had happened on a way from you being who you are now to who you were. So many bad things have happened, but so many wonderful things. And if you went back to who you were, your life, you would never grow, you would never expand. What possibly could life give you because you want to hold on to what used to be? This is now. And what a blessing it is to realize the trials and tribulations that you have survived through to where you are now, to the point where you can repair anything that you've broken. Just taking time and patience. And let me tell you something. If any of you guys have had relationships with family, with friends that had got broken when you had come home and you went out and you got help or whatever the case may be, whatever it was you had to do, you improved yourself and you were able to repair those relationships, you were able to step past your pride. Oh, well, so and so said this to me and said that to me. Yeah, well, it's a cause and effect thing sometimes. It's a cause and effect thing. Sometimes people are reactionary, or maybe you did enough stuff to somebody where they blew their top at you. You got what I'm saying? And you may feel like you didn't deserve it, but you got to kind of like look at yourself for who you are. You do. So if you can make it to that space, if you can make it to that fork in the road and change the way you think, I promise you, when you look at life, it's going to change everything. Everything will start to look different, even you.
Your reactions
Even
are gonna
you.
change to those
Mhm.
people giving you shit.
Yeah, you're going to take a break now. Like somebody will say something. It's crazy now because back in the day, somebody could say something. I'm ready to snap out. But now somebody can say something and immediately in my head, I'm like, you know what?
Maybe they're just having a really bad day.
Exactly. And just to appease my ego, to appease my ego, I'll be like, you know, maybe they're having a bad day. And then I'll say, my angel will say that on this shoulder, but the devil on this shoulder would be like, let me get out of here before I make their day worse. You got what I'm saying? And I'll just walk away.
You got a sensible devil.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Sometimes you got to do it
I
like that.
dig it.
Because sometimes people they veer real hard into it. They lean into the turn. You know,
Oh,
they lean into that turn and
they fully
hey,
commit.
yeah. Some I say, you know what? I haven't always been nonviolent.
Mm.
I don't want to revisit that old guy who I used to be because I feel nowadays I really honestly feel like I'm a new man. I feel like I'm a new person,
Yeah,
and I'm
empathy
okay with
doesn't make
that.
you weak until it gets to the point of
Yeah,
suicidal empathy.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's where shit gets real whack.
Yeah. I think all empathy gives you the ability to grant grace and mercy because we realize
Well,
that one day
well.
that could be me. When I've offended people and I've been offended. You
I was,
got what I'm
I
saying?
was gonna say like that hasn't been you
Yeah,
in
yeah.
previous days.
Exactly.
I mean, have you lived life?
Exactly.
That's gotta be you at some point.
And then knowing that none of us can be perfect, then guess what? Things happen. So guess what? All right, they got mad, they flipped out, whatever the case may be. I'm not gonna hold that from them against them for the rest of their life.
No, because I'm gonna be the
Uh-uh.
asshole next week when I have a bad
Yeah,
day that flips
exactly.
out.
Exactly.
I would appreciate the same kind of grace in return.
And what I will hope is that I'm not, I'm going to be wise enough to know that, okay, we're not making a habit of this. We're going to have a conversation about it because I don't have to I don't have to sit here and indulge myself in nonsense. I don't have to sit here and because you think you have permission to say and do whatever you want to say and do because you feel a certain kind of way, or even because I may have offended you in the past. You know, after a while, let me see. I tried to save this. You don't want it to be saved. I'll walk away gracefully. You know what I mean? That's between me and my God at that point and you and yours. So that's all I got for you.
So I can tell you another thing, like through all of my counseling and everything, something else, another point I got to where like you're gonna hit pivotal moments where something's going to click and you're going to, oh, cool, growth point. That's what I'm looking for. Not really a pivotal moment, but growth point. You can recognize it. It feels tangible to you. One of mine that I really enjoyed finding was, hey, I can recognize now, like almost immediately, maybe I said that wrong. Now I'm in a position of leadership at work. The last thing I want to do is piss everybody off underneath me while I'm running a job. And I work in a dangerous field. We're working around heavy equipment, industrial equipment, in and out of plants and buildings, around all kinds of crazy chemicals. I do a little bit of everything as a millwright. But to know that I can recognize now, like, hey, wait, I was a little too snippy. This guy did not fucking deserve that. That's on me, and that's a me problem. And I'm able to go and wholeheartedly apologize. And you start to really correct that. Now, in that in itself, I found that to be almost a two-sided coin on the growth points.
Yeah.
Because, okay, wait a second. All of this work to try and recognize things as they're happening and going on. Cool. I got the recognition part. Oh, shit. I've got the correction part of it too. And it's such a little and subtle thing, but like, all right, cool. There's your ego going away a bit, as we spoke to that earlier. And, you know, it's just, you need to pay attention to those things. Those are also the little nuggets that are going to help keep you sustainable, because it's also progress. It's tangible. It's there. But if I didn't put the work in.
Yo, Josh, Winky said, there's no walking away gracefully for me. I'll burn the fucking bridge while I'm standing on it.
Just to show a motherfucker I can swim.
It's only people to include blood related. Let me tell you something.
I fucking love you, bro.
I get it. Let me tell you something. I get it. And this is the sad part. Two things can be right at the same time. I get that sentiment, because sometimes people go too far and you have your limitations on stuff. I don't even want to call it a boundary, because guess what? Boundaries, they shift and move depending on the day. But there are certain hard truths that you are not willing to cross no matter what. And I could give you several examples right now, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say, though, is this. There is a point where every individual has a capacity to let water go under the bridge, or to say something is unforgivable. And when you feel like for me personally, if you tried to destroy me, if you did something that you knew would cause so much discomfort and pain in my life, I'm standing up right there with you. I am. I'll say the same thing Wiki's saying. But, you know, if it was
something, this motherfucker to the ground.
If it was something that it just wasn't that major, okay, yeah, I was upset. Yeah. You was upset. It wasn't that major. Then guess what? I will humble myself in a heartbeat. I'm not trying to fight everybody. I'm not trying to freaking run around, call people liars. I feel this way about something. You may feel that way about something. That's all good and fine. I don't care if you voted for freaking Trump. I don't care if you voted for Harris. I don't care who you voted for. Yeah, I'm not going to fight you about that. I don't care what God you pray to. I don't care. That's on you. I'm not going to argue with you. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you about that. But there is like very little things, but they are important things nonetheless, that I will be on Winky's side for that. He also said, I tried being nice and rolling the other cheek, but then just get tired of being used, walked on like I ain't the one. Shit. Yeah. I get you, fucking love you, brother. But that's what I'm saying. You can't allow people to think that they have permission to do that.
Exactly.
When it hits that space.
But like, at least, Winkler, my knowledge of you, brother, if you were to give me that kind of ass chewing because I crossed the line and I stood there and took accountability for my actions, that bridge isn't burned. As long as I show you I actually mean it.
Yeah.
Like, there's that accountability part The accountability of self, because that's what that is at that point. If you push somebody to that fucking point, like you're not holding yourself accountable for your actions if you can't just like, shit. I fucked up.
Well, even then, not even just saying it, but actually putting action behind it. Like if you take accountability and not take it as a permission to do something else in the future. You get what I'm saying? To add on to that. Because some people do take it that way. Like they will apologize to you today and then tomorrow turn around and do the same damn thing and then apologize again. And then I've seen, man, I've been in situations like that.
Yeah, now
and
you're
then
just
it reaches
abusing
a point,
my kindness. You've taken it for
taking
weakness.
my kindness for blindness. And guess what? We're not doing that. We're not doing that. You will not take my kindness for blindness. So don't misunderstand for 1 second. I see everything you doing. Everything you doing. And for me personally, I may give you grace. I may give you mercy. I might do all of that. That's not because I'm weak. And it's not because you're getting over on me. It's because I've done a lot of work to try to be a better person. But even that has its limitations. Okay, you done did it one too many times. I'm not mad at you, but just stand over there. If you on the fence about what you think about me, then go on that side of the fence then.
Yep.
Don't be on the fence. Go on that side of the fence. You don't have to be here. And guess what? I'm not mad at you for it. I don't feel no type of way. I just don't need you around here because around here, I'm trying to build myself. I'm trying to grow. But we are rounding up on our last 3 minutes. You want to close it out, Ron?
Baby steps. Everything begins with baby steps. It's crawl, walk, run. You can't sprint to a destination. It ain't that type of thing. It's just not. That's reality. So, that being said, give yourself grace, give yourself permission, and don't bite off more than you can chew. That is how you can begin to rebuild and maintain some sustainability while doing so. Take time to smell the roses in the sense of, man, this is a growth point. Okay, cool. I wonder what my next one will be. Keep that as your motivation. It is why results matter. And just keep moving forward. Keep moving. Stagnant water will kill you. The filter is to keep moving.
Hey, well, I feel like it's enough said on that. There's nothing I can add to that. It ain't nothing I can take away. We want to thank all of y'all for coming out today and watching us as usual. I would like to ask y'all if y'all, digging what we doing, make sure you like it. But not only like it, but share this podcast with some of your friends. Anybody you think could use it. Anybody you think could add to the conversation. We like to add you guys' comments into what we're doing in real time so that other people can hear it, because a lot of times people don't necessarily read your comments. Like the people who are listening, they don't necessarily read the comments. But I like to bring in all of those different voices. We like for everybody to be heard. You got what I'm saying? So once again, if we missed any comments, we do apologize. Blame our minds and not our hearts. And we will definitely catch y'all in about 2 weeks.
Yes,
Same
sir.
bad time.
Same bad channel.